What's up, Creation Grounds? This is episode 28, almost at 30, with Ryan Murphy, who I met during an audition season for MFAs, BFAs, and we talked a little bit. I thought he was a cool dude, and this interview just confirmed it even more. He's wise beyond his years. He's going to create some dope art. Look out for him. He's an up-and-comer. He just got into NYU BFA's program, and he has a lot of great things to say, a lot of inspiring words, a lot of encouraging words, and you can tell that art is who he is. Art is in his heart, and he wants to share that with you, and it's my pleasure to share this episode with you. So let's start this show. Welcome to another episode of Creation Grounds. I'm talking with Ryan Murphy. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm good. How are you, man?
Doing good. Great to have you. Glad to have you.
Thank you for having me, man. Appreciate it.
So I just kind of wanted to dive right in and just get into it. Who has been the most influential in your life, and why would you say that they have been?
Most influential? I think there's a lot of people who have been equally influential. I mean, one is definitely just kind of like my brother, because my brother is kind of the reason who I am today, because, I went to a performing arts high school, and I wouldn't have gone there if he hadn't gone there first, and I followed him there. And so, and also, that's how I got my taste in music. I got my taste in television and media, and eventually how I got my taste in acting and how I transitioned over there. Because we both started out on string instruments, and then as he got more and more into film, I got more and more into acting. So I definitely my brother, and also my mom, of course, just because she's always been there, guiding me, kind of just helping me out whenever I need to be helped out, and showing me the correct path.
That's dope. So family's big for you. How many years apart are you and your brother?
Yes, a year and a half. A year and a half. He's 19, going on 20 soon.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Is he still acting, still in the arts?
Yeah, he's actually right now he's at Hofstra University on Long Island.
Oh, cool.
Studying film, getting his BFA there, I believe, or his BA, I think, actually. So yeah, he's still there, and he's been working on a lot of stuff up there. He actually got an internship at a radio station up there. So he's staying for the summer, and he's also a summer RA there. So he's doing big things. He's getting a lot of opportunities up there. So
shout out to Big Bro, and shout out to your mom.
Yeah, definitely.
So it seems like the acting passion kind of stemmed from your brother's influence. Do you have a specific day when you discovered a love and passion for acting?
Yeah. It was after my first show ever, which was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And in that show, I played a Turkle. And I just remember, after seeing the show, you go out into the lobby, the theater lobby, and there'd be people just talking there about how it made them feel, and how it affected them, and how it made them change how they thought. And I think that was the best thing for me, where I realized that for me it's always kind of been how does art change someone's mindset, and in that moment it was that's how you make them think, you make them question the norm, and you make them think about their reality, how they talk to people and treat people and things like that. And so that's when I was I love this, because it's just fun, because I get to I think acting is about finding the truth in the human experience. And so when you're there on stage, I get to find out more about humanity and my own humanity and how those things interconnect. And then it's also serving to, prove a message to the audience and change people's thinking and, affect lives.
That's awesome. Yeah, man. It's also fun for me. And I think it's, you can have even more longevity when it's not just fun, but it's also, you want to impact lives and you want to help people. You have your why. You have your why, and I think that's going to carry you for a long time. So I know we're both still very young. You're younger than me, What are some of the choices that you've made that have made you who you are?
I think a lot of the choices I made that made me who we are more often like bad choices than good choices. Because I think a big defining part of like the human character is, you know, what we do after our mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like I had countless mistakes. I've made a lot of those, recently, like this is like in November, but like I crashed like my girlfriend's car and 4 other cars, and that was a nightmare.
Wow.
Yeah, right. And so that was terrible, and it kind of forced me to adult.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, because it's like you have to pay these bills because you wrecked 4 cars, and you have to work, and you have to balance this with your schoolwork and acting and friends and all these different things. And I think that's just an example. But
wait, time out. Did you say 4? Did you say 4 cars?
Yeah.
4.
Yeah. Okay. So
you can't just say that and not tell stories. You wrecked 4 cars. How 4? How?
So, it was in a school parking lot, and I was in her car about to get food, and I was like, okay, I probably shouldn't do this, but like for a car, it's like weird in that it has to like you have to switch, you have to go into reverse, and like you have to switch. It's at a power button. And so you switch into reverse. I was in reverse already, but to turn the power off, you have to press the brake and the power. And so I pressed the wrong pedal while I was in reverse, and so I went backward. And this is like it's like me having bad luck, where I hit one car, right, and that car hit another car, which also hit another car. So okay. So you wrecked 4 cars in one sitting. I thought you wrecked the car. Some time passed, you wrecked another one, then you wrecked another one, then you wrecked another one. But I thought that's what I thought you were saying. You're saying that you wrecked 4 in one sitting. Yeah,
that's still pretty bad, but man, it's not as that's wild, man.
Yeah, the Mario Kart in real life, the Mario Kart skills came out.
Yeah, I feel you. That's dope, man. But you were saying like what you learned from that, and we learned from mistakes. That's cool. I just wanted to kind of get the story behind that, because that's pretty wild.
Yeah. Definitely top 10 worst things I've done ever, but
cool. So you're telling me a little bit that you just got into NYU BFA program. That's great. I met you in New York when you were auditioning. I was on the MFA track. You were auditioning for MFA. We met at Julliard. So tell me about your audition experience, because there's some people that they'll be auditioning for the next season. More high schoolers coming behind you that will want to do that. What do you wish you knew now that you could pass on to others as they prepare?
Don't put too much pressure on everything, because I think out of all my, so I auditioned for 5 schools. I auditioned for Rutgers, NYU, Howard, Fordham, and Julliard. And I think, of course, you're not going to have every audition isn't going to go well. But I think the worst thing I did for myself was at Julliard in specific, because I did 4 back-to-back. I did NYU, Fordham, Rutgers, and Julliard all in like one weekend. Mm-hmm. I think what was like the bane, like my personal bane, was that I put so much pressure on Julliard. And I think that really weakened my audition, because like for all my other things, I was nervous because I was like, this is just practice, and it was that mindset, I think, that helped me get into NYU, because NYU was the first one I actually auditioned for, because, I flew in, I woke up at like 4 a.m., flew in to New York, was in there by like, 8 a.m. and walked around the city for a couple hours, and then I eventually went to NYU for my audition, and I did that. And so, like, there was no pressure on that at all. I think the big reason about why I got in. And then the same for the others, because like there is no, like for me, it was all learning in those. But I think having that same mindset of this is all learning will, prove to be incredibly virtuous, just because, it's all an audition should be. because you can't, in an audition, you can't, be perfect. And I don't think any school wants a perfect student, because if you're a perfect student, why are you going to school?
Right.
So I think overall, just not putting too much pressure on any school or yourself, because after all, you're only human. And the work will speak for itself. I think that's just what you need to think about. The work will speak for itself, and all you can do is your best. And as long as you did your best, then that's all. Yeah,
that's facts. Something I heard a lot in the room too before starting is that the auditors would say, "Slow down, take your time," all that kind of stuff. I think that kind of comes with the nerves, but that's dope. So congrats on the NYU. And I know you're going to crush it there. You got 4 years of greatness there. In this past year, what movie or TV show or play have you recommended people watch the most this year, and why?
Definitely have to be The Last Days of Judas Iscariot. It's played by Stephen Adegurgis.
Mm-hmm.
Recommend all his plays. I think they're all great, especially for minorities, all POC. It's because it really delves into those issues in those communities.
Mm-hmm.
And fun fact, for my auditions, I had both my contemporary pieces were from plays of his.
Which
ones? One was from The Last Days of Judas Iscariot, and one was from In Arabia Would All Be Kings.
Dope. I'm curious.
Going back.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So going back to Judas, it explores it's a fictional story, of course, but explores the story of Judas Iscariot, obviously from the Bible, and then Jesus. And essentially, it's like Judas's trial for of course, betraying Jesus. And so it explores all these different perspectives from different religious figures. And then in the end, it culminates in this scene, this super dramatic and, this powerful scene between Jesus and Judas where, they talk to each other for the first time. And I think it just kind of tests the boundaries of the human nature, and exploring truth, and to what is there any real salvation, and can we ever really right our wrongs? And I think it's a big thing about love and truth, just because a big theme is did Judas really love Jesus? And if so, why did he do that?
Right.
So yeah, I just think that's incredibly thought-provoking and powerful.
That's real. What character have you related with the most, and why?
I don't want to say I'm a terrible person, but I'd say Judas.
Okay.
I probably shouldn't say that, honestly, but
look, the play is dope. I don't think it really sets up Judas as a villain, because I was in that play in college.
Really, who were you?
I played Judas and Jesus on alternating nights.
That's
in college.
Wow. Journey.
But
it's because I think Judas shows the imperfections of humanity. In a way I think is particularly, interesting. And so, it's just seeing how humanity is, and the true intentions behind that, because people have their actions, and then when they try to recant for them and apologize and fix them, rarely do you get the chance. And I think it really explores the want to fix the things you've done wrong. I think, like I stated earlier, I crashed 4 cars, and I've done plenty not worse than that, but I've done plenty of other bad things, and I always kind of want to fix my wrongs, but you can't really fix them.
Right.
Sometimes I think that's just why I relate to him, because it's that.
He's imperfect. He's imperfect. He's human.
Yeah.
Do you have any dream roles? Anything that you want to play? Anything that you kind of want to delve into?
Yes. On the more like, this is going to be really specific, but my number one all time is Miles Morales.
Oh, dope.
Because
dope.
Yeah, right. It's because, you know, I am just like him. I am Black and Puerto Rican, Afro Latino, and given I don't live in Brooklyn, but the character is someone who I love. Is personally like, for me, as growing up as a kid, I always told myself I couldn't be Spider-Man because Spider-Man is white, and obviously I'm a Black kid, and like when you hear about Miles Morales, then of course with the success of Into the Spider-Verse, which is a phenomenal film, by the way. That's aside from the point, it kind of just gave me hope, and I want to bring that same hope to Afro Latino kids across the globe, because you hear about like the stories, and there are kids in theaters saying, "Hey, mommy, he speaks Spanish like us," or he's saying, "Hey, or hey, dad, he looks like us," Yeah. And I think it's just like that inclusion, and I want everyone to be included. That's just like my personal way I would love to do it.
So that's kind of a great segue because I think you might have actually answered it, but what value do you think the arts has for people? Is it kind of like that inclusion, or what value, if not just that, do you think the arts has for people?
I think art has like a plethora of values, but I think the overall one is like education. Like I was saying with Cuckoo's Nest, the ability to change someone's thinking or make someone think, start a conversation. I think that's the most important part to solving a lot of issues, because there's so many terrible things happening in our world. Of course, Flint does not have clean water.
Mm-hmm.
And in Syria and the Middle East, like there are children dying every day. Climate change. Like in some country somewhere, they passed a law where you could, stone gay people. There's so many like terrible things happening in our world. And I think that art has the ability to educate people about those issues and start the conversation, and begin talk that needs to be talked about, because it's so important. I think that is the most important value of art. But like building off of that, I think there are many different like faces to inclusion. So there's inclusion in the sense of like demographics and minorities and POC, but there's also inclusion in terms of like including these issues that are in the dark and bring them into the light. I think it's another form of inclusion that art has, which ties into education.
Right. So it's kind of like including people who might be branded like outcasts or stories that aren't necessarily told. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's real. So you're about to graduate. You just had your prom. If your yearbook quote could be plastered on every yearbook in the world, what would it say? Don't crash 4 cars.
Yeah, don't crash 4 cars.
Don't do that.
I think it would be okay. This is what my actual yearbook quote, and I used to believe in it so heavily. It's something I always say. But precedent is a standard meant to be exceeded. Semicolon, sin boldly. That's
real. That's dope. That's fire, man.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Yeah, I just like what it means essentially is like the first part, the precedent part. It talks about how those who come before you are not. It isn't a standard to meet those who come before you. It's a standard to go above them. And so like I think whenever someone compares a new artist to like an older one, saying that someone's a new Michael Jackson or saying that someone's a new Tupac or saying someone's a new anything, I think that's harmful to art in that it puts someone in a box. But also I think that we shouldn't try to be this person. We should try to be you, and you should try to be the best you can be and be better than who came before you. And on the other side of that is the sin boldly. And sin boldly, like it's a saying, it's my personal mantra, but it's a saying at my school, in my department, just meaning like, if you're gonna make a mistake, make it big, you know?
Right.
And yeah, it has like practical uses, but also like, you know, more like metaphysical, like idealistic things, philosophical, you know? And that, you know, in that, you know, if you need to be able to make mistakes so you can be yourself, so you can find yourself. And I think how we progress above the standard is by making mistakes and learning from them. Because the person, in my eyes, with the most education, the person who has lived the most and, you know, has learned the most, and you learn from your mistakes. You learn. There's like school learning. I'm getting very meta here, but there's school learning and there's actual learning. I think the actual learning, the learning you need to survive and to actually, you know, have a fleshed out personality and a character. I think that actual learning comes from making mistakes. And so I think artistic excellence comes from making mistakes and finding yourself and finding your own artistic voice. So yeah.
That's fire and very wise, man. I love that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
So what would you do? So kind of tying into the fail, I guess it might be just fail big, but what would your routine be to improve as an actor? Do you have a routine currently? Are you looking forward to a routine in your BFA training, or what is that for you?
Yeah, I think, you know, you look at like the most prestigious acting programs in the country, and they all teach the same thing. Generally speaking, of course, there's like some like variations, but generally they're all the same thing. And I think what they all focus on is not teaching you how to be a better actor, but rather teaching you how to use more parts of yourself. And I think that's like the most important part of acting, is understanding how you can use yourself. Because, you know, when you're acting, your body is your instrument. And if you don't know how to use it or what you can do with it, then you'll never be able to improve as an actor. And so, I mean, concerning how I get better, I think for me, a lot of it has just been, you know, growth in high school as a person. Because as I've grown as a person, I've also grown as an actor. And because, you know, everyone has up these walls, but you have to be willing to be vulnerable and live in that vulnerability as an actor, to tell the truth of the situation. And I think the optimal way to do that is just, you know, grow as a person. But then how do you grow as a person? How do you know you're on the right track? I don't really know. So, I mean, yeah, just like time and, you know, life experience, I'd say. I am definitely trying to find a better like routine, which is, you know, why I'm going to school. Because like you know, people always tell me that I'm really good with the whole character aspect, but I'm really bad at the technical aspect. You know, like my speech, cheating out, you know, a lot of simple things, you know. That's part of why I'm going to school. And so I think, you know, there's very not easy, but, you know, there is a telegraphed path on how to get better, technically speaking, as an actor. But, you know, truthfully, and telling the truth as an actor, I think comes with tearing down those walls and becoming more human and becoming one and understanding yourself. I think that's where that comes from.
That's facts. That's awesome, man. I'm excited for the work that you're gonna do. I'm just very, very wise beyond your years and have a great grasp of the craft, and just a lot of growth. And I'm looking forward to the work that you'll book and that you and the art that you can create. That's real. What's the film that you saw last? And if you could put your stamp on it and change something to enhance it or make it better, what would you do differently from your perspective?
Oof. Thinking about the film that I saw last, I've had a busy couple of weeks, honestly, so I'm not even like sure. I mean, it's kind of sound cheesy, but I bought like Into the Spider-Verse because I love the movie and the character so much. I bought it on Blu-ray, DVD, all that stuff. There isn't much I would say could really improve the movie. Make it longer.
Make it longer. Because you loved it so much, you didn't want it to end.
Yeah, I was like, yes, this is great. I mean, I will say the one part that always gets me is it's kind of in the beginning. I feel like the whole interaction where Miles meets like the alternate Peter, the pacing on that's kind of awkward. But I mean, other than that, I mean, that's the only thing I would really say I need to change about that movie.
Okay. And I feel like you're a very creative person. You have a lot of different interesting perspectives. When you think of the word creative, this is something I ask all my guests as well. Who comes to mind for you and why?
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover. Yep.
Just because he expresses himself through so many different venues. And that's just like, you know, of course, Guava Island recently came out, which I really wanted to watch. I haven't gotten a chance to yet.
Oh, you got to see it.
And he has an entire collaboration coming out with Adidas for shoes. And of course, he dropped all those promotional videos announcing the collection and showcasing them. I think he's just kind of like an epitome Black creative who I really look up to personally.
Me too.
He does so many different things, and they're all so different. You know, like if you compare his, you know, if you look at his discography, you know, if you compare his early stuff to his more recent stuff, you know, it's like such a stark contrast where it has become so much more about the feeling than it has about, you know, like the gilded things, you know, how hard this rhyme goes, or, you know, other aspects like that.
Yeah, man. There was an interview. I could talk about him. He's one of my favorite artists as well. But there's an interview he did, and they were talking about like the creating and being creative. And something he asked the rest of the panel was like, "Do you feel like you need to kind of stick to what the audience expects of you?" You know what I mean? And you know, I feel like he's somebody who definitely doesn't. That's kind of why I respect him. He like takes risks. He does what he wants to do and isn't afraid of failure. Fail big, you know, sin boldly, as you would say. That's dope, man. Well, I know you're coming to New York. That's where I'm at. When you get to New York, you know, you'll be busy with school and all that, but any other time, let's definitely connect. For any of the guests, anybody who's listening, and any people who are like kind of maybe going to be auditioning or listening to this later in the future, where and how can people connect with you? You have social media, YouTube, anything?
Yeah, my social media, I mean, I generally just have an Instagram, or I have Twitter as well, but I'm not really active on there that often. Best place to find me is going to be Instagram, just like the Ryan Murray. The, of course, spelled like regular, like the, and then Ryan, but also an additional N, and then Murray. So like you could say the Ryan N. Murray, in a way.
Dope.
Just because like it's like Ryan. My middle name is Noah, so the Ryan N. Murray. So yeah, just like that.
Well, it's been a pleasure, man. Sin boldly. I know you're gonna create some dope work.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I just thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. And if I can just like say one thing, I think I think understanding artistic excellence is so important in today's like society, just because, you know, with everything going on, art has such an impact on who we are as people and our society, and you know, I think we need to I think we need artists to raise awareness, because people won't care unless a lot of people have to care, and the best way to get a lot of people to care is to talk about it, start the conversation. Art, I think, is the best way to do that, man.
That's real. Ryan, looking forward to your art, and
thank you, man.